So if I like just carry around my face mask, then that should...
Excellent language loophole there.
Very nice. Yeah, the situation is pretty crazy everywhere, really. All right, so we're live. Welcome, everybody. This is the BCH Ignite live stream. Building tools for Bitcoin mass adoption. What's first? We're joined today by our guest, Chris Troutner of fullstack.cash and Tobias Rook of b.cash. And of course, your hosts, Kosha and myself, George. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah. All right. So which one of you guys wants to...
let's start with Chris because he has a
okay.
he has a small time frame, you know.
Oh, right. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I got a hard stop in an hour. I gotta get off. So I'll just introduce myself to those who aren't familiar. My name's Chris Troutner, and I worked at bitcoin.com as a senior JavaScript developer, where I helped develop developer.bitcoin.com and rest.bitcoin.com, the Bitbox JavaScript SDK and the REST API for interacting with the blockchain. I've since taken that over to fullstack.cash, and I'm evolving that software. And so it's a framework for letting phone apps and web apps interact with the blockchain, so that if you're a front-end developer, so the developer world is typically cut in half with front-end developers and back-end developers. And so fullstack.cash provides all the back-end services, so that a front-end developer can just focus on, adding value, just making a web page and talking to the blockchain, creating a wallet, doing transactions. And then that fullstack.cash is actually under an umbrella organization called the Permissionless Software Foundation. And that's at psfoundation.cash. And it's sort of an experimental funding mechanism that I'm playing with for the big problem I'm trying to solve is funding of open source infrastructure. And so it's a big problem. It's much bigger than the bitcoin.com space. I don't imagine that I have the one solution that works. We're kind of just playing jazz and experimenting with things, but that's kind of my background and where I come from.
Outstanding. So I think all of us here are working on, mass adoption, on how to get real people, building or, gaining value from Bitcoin Cash. So Tobias, why don't you give a little, introduction?
So let me first introduce myself for those that don't know me yet. So I'm Tobias Rook, or Tobias Rook, if you speak German. And I'm developing Bcash, which is a crypto card, which is for Bitcoin Cash, where you can pay just like you're used to with credit cards, with NFC or chip, if that's the only thing available. And also now with NFC on your phone, which is the same technology, but which is really cool. And my plan is to really allow the ordinary people that don't actually care about crypto, that aren't just in it for the technology or just in it to for other reasons. They're just in it for the convenience, for saving money, for all the things people usually do. And so I really want to make bring crypto actually into the hands of the people that most benefit by it. So I'm currently in talks with a guy from South Africa, which is really cool. We're working on getting adoption there. I don't want to talk too much about that because it's still up in the air, but it's really cool. It's really cool progress, and I'm especially excited by all the energy I'm receiving from the community. They're equally as excited about those cards than I am.
Yeah, I saw you demonstrated some functionality the other day. about how you can actually use a card as like your recovery phrase to store your recovery phrase. And I found that really helpful because during the almost 2 years that I was in the field doing adoption, not for Bitcoin Cash, but with another coin, a big problem was people losing their recovery phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's really interesting. And I think that, you know, all of us are really have a piece of the puzzle to gain, you know, to really kickstart some serious, you know, mainstream adoption. You know, Kusha is getting together guys in Africa, thinking about remittances, BCH houses. Tobias has the cards, the apps. Chris has done an enormous amount of research, especially with Venezuela, and he has, you know, all the kind of like back end stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, and so I think a real key thing is like how do we fit this all together? You know, how do we fit this all together into a product that we can take to you know something approaching a mainstream audience?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah. So I'll just kind of recap. This is really not the start of a conversation. We're kind of in the middle of a conversation. I kind of look at this as an extension of what we talked about during the live stream last week during the last network upgrade. And I really respect what Tobias is doing. And he and I are, and you know, so if the sort of the frame for this discussion is how do we get mass adoption? How do we make Bitcoin Cash practical? I respect what Tobias is doing because we're really approaching it for the same goal from two different angles. You know, he's trying to make just a very pragmatic payment system with a card that fits in with all the like standard payment systems that we have today. I'm trying to make it practical by abstracting away as much of the Bitcoin specific stuff and make it as easy and approachable for front end developers to just build an app to solve a business problem. And you know, then just to bring in some of the things we talked about during the live stream last week during the network upgrade is, you know, we talked a lot about you know, in my research in Venezuela, what I've come to find out is like, and I use Venezuela as an example a lot because I think that any lessons learned there can be exported to the rest of the world. It's sort of this extreme case where if we solve a problem there, then we've really solved the problem. And the problem that Venezuelans need us to solve is how to buy groceries. They don't care about cryptocurrency; they care about buying groceries. And so we need to come up with a system that works in a broken financial infrastructure like Venezuela has, and lowers the friction to buying groceries. And so some of the things that we've talked about, like in preparation for this live stream, is I wrote an article on Read Cash called "The Best Currency," and I really explore some of this interplay between stable coins and true cryptocurrency like Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum, and and sort of the risks and rewards and what I advocate to the Venezuelans that I talk to is because in Venezuela the concept of saving, you know, you roll the clock back like a year ago and everybody's like, oh, those poor Venezuelans, they have no chance to save any money because, you know, of all the hyperinflation. But now we're in the United States, we also don't have any ambitions for saving money because we also have hyperinflation and no interest rates. And so Venezuelans on a very like individual level, they kind of like the volatility of cryptocurrencies because volatility can be both bad and good. It can go up and down, but you don't want to be like 100% exposed to that. So sort of the happy medium I'm been educating Venezuelans on is to use a service like sideshift.ai to shift their wealth into USDH stable coins, and they still get the permissionless features of cryptocurrency. There's a little bit of risk there because there is like a single entity honest coin that could be, you know, attacked, but the risk there is minimal. But sort of finding this balance between a stable coin that provides low volatility and a cryptocurrency that provides volatility that can be both good and bad, and just sort of riding that fine line between the two. And I think that's what a lot of Venezuelans are trying to achieve. They want, they want something that's stable, that they can, it's going to be have the same amount of buying power next month, and they want to use that for groceries. But then they're also, they're risk takers. Everybody is. I mean, people just in general are risk takers. They can see risk and reward and deal with it. We do it every day in our lives, and so if you want to like take a risk and invest in a cryptocurrency, there's that too. And so I think there's this happy medium. There's still a lot of room for improvement, but we've come a long way, and we're continuing to improve. So that's kind of my take on this whole, like, how do we make cryptocurrency practical, and how do we make it as practical as possible with the tools that we have at our disposal today.
So for you, you seem to be focused on like a savings use case. Is that accurate?
It's important. I mean, it's not like I don't focus on it at the exclusion of other things, but savings is definitely an important use case. It's rapidly turning into a luxury.
I would say it is a luxury for most people in Venezuela, and indeed in most parts of the developing world. One thing that it was hard for me to wrap my head around when I first came here a couple decades ago was people would take a couple. People had to do, it's Saturday. Mom's got to do a load of wash. So does she have like a big, thing full of laundry detergent that she bought at Costco in bulk? No, no, she doesn't have any. She has a couple coins. She goes down to the corner store and she buys just enough to do her wash that day. And that's an indicator of just how cash poor the developing world is. Everything is very just in time. Like, we think of just in time as like, Amazon and bringing things over from China and things, but these people live very just in time. And especially I think in Venezuela, where you can't even getting clean water is a challenge. Like, you like save what, and I think for a lot of people it makes a lot more sense to save maybe in rice than it does in currency.
Yeah, you'd said in the live stream, you'd made a good point about inflows. Like, we have this chicken and egg problem, and we need to solve this. We need to get Bitcoin Cash to the people who then want to spend it. And that's why I look at Venezuela again as a low-hanging fruit, because I've found a handful of good developers in that country, and so it's a good way. Like, they render a service and I pay them, and that's what Bitcoin Cash is great, is just transcending boundaries. And they render a service and I pay them, and it's that simple. And then it gets us over that whole chicken and egg problem.
But I think we have to we have to bring a remittances solution. We have to bring merchant adoption. We have to bring stability, along with the inherent volatility of crypto. But even more than that, I think we have to bring a jobs program. I think that, increasingly we should think of Bitcoin Cash as a nation. I don't know. I'm just trying this metaphor on for size. Maybe we should think of this as a nation. Bitcoin Cash is not a nation that has control, exclusive control of any landmass or physical force. But like any good nation, if we flash back to 100 years ago, FDR and whatnot in the United States, like, you got to bring prosperity. You got to put a chicken in every pot. You know what I'm saying? So we got to bring a jobs program. And so I think we have to conceive of the whole task of creating a crypto economy, or converting existing economies to a crypto economy. The whole task of mass adoption, turn that into a job, and Uber style, give everybody a way to plug into that and make some money. And then that's also a way to address the inflows challenge. We have to make sure it's profitable. Definitely. But I think it's very doable.
So
yeah, because a lot of people ask, like, okay, what's the best way to get crypto? And usually I recommend them like, oh yeah, go to kraken.com or something like that. But wouldn't it be much cooler to be like, oh yeah, just apply, like, just do put in your resume, and you'll get Bitcoin Cash, you get whatever. And I think this is a much better and more like this, more like an economy focused kind of thing, other than like, oh yeah, just exchange it for fiat and then exchange it back to fiat again. So what do you want to say?
There are, if I may jump in,
Sure,
there are
sure.
also
But of
other
course.
services, that are entertaining. It's not even just a job where you can apply it. It's like read.cash or something. You can write, you can draw pictures. If you're an artist, just scan your pictures and show them. There will be, of course, there will be people who will be tipping you, or even telling you, can you create a cover, an art piece for me or something like this. This is opportunities. This is, and this has nothing to do with buying Bitcoin or getting a hold of Bitcoin or something. It's just like you're getting paid, and you're getting paid online. This guy you don't have to connect to him via some banking system or PayPal, which won't work because you're in Venezuela. You just get it tipped. And George, these are the people who I also think need to save then, so we have to give them this, the opportunities, and like with jobs and with, this entertaining social media activities, like being creative. And then we have on the software side, we have to have the solutions ready, so they don't, it's not too complicated for them, so that they maybe even get too afraid to go on with this. Even for me in 2017, if I may say, or I should have easily switched to USDT or something, the money that I had. I didn't. For me, it was just like, still, even for me, it was too complicated or too strange for me to do this. Or even also from the vision, I had this point, this like, no, I'm in Bitcoin, all in, whatever. And it doesn't make sense at all after all this time I'm thinking about this. The idea of having a stablecoin and having this stablecoin side on side with Bitcoin Cash is, in my opinion, super important. And that's why we are also, when I'm also talking about the reference wallet, like having to include this option. I don't think a P2 wallet would be a P2P wallet, or can be called a P2P cash wallet, if it doesn't have this feature, in my opinion. It's like 2 years overdue, in my opinion. As an entitled user, I'm saying this,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the integration of stable or of SLP and especially USDH is still quite lacking in the space, which is fine. But I also think most crypto people, I mean, I've seen some people really being opposed to like having a stablecoin, which I think is a bit, I don't know, I don't like that at all, because I really care about like the people, like my parents, my neighbors, like they don't care about crypto at all. And I want to onboard them. I want to give them something that they benefit from. And if they have to like think in a different currency system, then even that is like it's a bad user experience, I think. And then like having those coins and then being able to use them directly on some websites, on some services, I think that's absolutely essential. And maybe we should be pushing like services and websites more to integrate that. And for that, obviously, having a good protocol base layer is also important. But one thing I wanted to like mention is that if I pay with PayPal, often I just enter my email and then I confirm on my phone. I think we should have something similar with Bitcoin Cash, where you don't, like if you want to pay, you don't have to pull out your QR code scanner and do that, which people aren't really used to. Like it's not that inconvenient, but it's kind of, I think it's kind of a new way of thinking. Instead, it should be like, okay, you push a button and then you just confirm on your phone, which people are very much used to, and then the transaction gets sent from your phone. But we don't have any protocol like that at the moment. Like websites don't integrate that. I think BSV has something like Money Button, which is similar to that. But I think we need to have something that's equally simple and equally powerful.
Yeah, let's explore that. But before we move on to wallets and stable coins, I want to circle back around to this idea of the jobs, because it is so critical to bootstrapping adoption. Some of the ways that I've explored this, so the last 2 years I've been doing developer outreach, and so this is a question I get asked all the time: how can I start making money? And it's definitely creating more jobs in the space is something I'm very interested in. So some of the things that I've explored with varying levels of success, I really think the guys over at LazyFox.io really pioneered some good ideas. It's kind of a job board. It's a Bitcoin Cash focused job board. They did hands down the best Badger wallet integration, where it was very smooth. You use your Bitcoin Cash address as an ID. That was kind of a cool thing. There's been other types of crypto job boards. The way I started, so when I first got back into the Bitcoin scene and with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin.com, I started giving a portion of my paycheck to eat BCH, to provide food to people in Venezuela. And then I decided, okay, you know what, I want to take it up a notch, and I want to make a difference in one person's life. So I looked at all the Bitcoin Cash focused job boards, and there wasn't really, the infrastructure at the time wasn't really there for what I needed. So I ended up going to Upwork, and I did an interview process, and I found someone in Venezuela, and I made it very clear that I was just using Upwork as a screening thing, and then like the real work would be paid in Bitcoin Cash, and it would take place outside that platform. So that's how that started. That's how I was able to provide one job for one person. And then that's since grown. And what I'm trying to do with the Permissionless Software Foundation is there's three facets to it. One is what I call them the vending machine, the consultant, and the foundation. And so what I'm trying to do with the vending machine is like fullstack.cash. That's a subscription service that you pay in Bitcoin Cash. I'm also coming out with like an IPFS file hosting service. You pay Bitcoin Cash and your file gets hosted. It's that simple. And it's like a vending machine. You put in a coin and you get something out. And so that's like the base engine that is part of the token economics that's going to cause the token to be valuable, that I'm the PSF token. But then I'm also trying to explore the next step, which is like consulting. Like I want to put myself in the middle of this pipeline of like developer talent and business users. And I've created a Telegram group called SLP Token Devs for Hire, which is where I try to get entrepreneurs who are looking at the Bitcoin Cash space to solve business problems and get them to commingle with developers who have SLP or BCH experience. And that's been pretty successful. I'm actually have managed to get quite a few freelance people jobs and get other people in the space to use that channel. And so I'm really happy with
why I'm not in there yet. Like I need to get in there.
Come on
You can send me the link later.
Yeah, I will. I rule it with an iron fist kind of. When things start getting off topic, I'm like, no, this channel is for entrepreneurs and developers to commingle. It's not to talk about trading or gossip or anything like that. And but that's worked pretty good. So I'm trying to like take this vending machine to the next step and actually like build a consulting company that can provide jobs for people in mostly South America is where I'm focused on. And but I need to find those businesses that are willing to pay for that kind of work. And then the final portion, if I get those first two pieces like in place and functioning, that final portion, the foundation, is going to be where people can, those first two layers, they only work for services. They only work for software as a service. There has to be some sort of input and output, and it doesn't work for common goods like a full node. Like you just can't monetize a full node. It doesn't work that way. It's a common good. And so if I can get those first two pieces nailed down, then that third piece, the foundational piece, is where people would buy the tokens and hold them so that they can fund other people. And the mechanics of this is described in the business plan, but that would be the governance of how we could actually support common goods, where by people simply buying and holding the token, every 3 months they'll get airdropped a funding token that they can then give to a developer of their choice to support, more of like a common good type of scenario. So again, this is all very experimental. It might not work. I'm just playing with it. But anyways, that's kind of been the progression of my experience of different ways I've approached this jobs problem and different solutions. But to go back around to the stable coins, I think that's a really valuable point of view that you have, Tobias, of how like you're real hesitant with a stable coin because you're in here for Bitcoin Cash and you want to promote Bitcoin Cash. And I think there's many facets to that. And I don't know what the right answer is there in terms of what role do stable coins play. In my mind, the big thing to be mindful of is that stable coins, there are, I mean, DAI is the closest thing we have to an algorithmic stable coin, and it has its own issues. So if any stable coin takes on like a whole nother risk. And I think like, whereas the risk with a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin Cash is the volatility, that's very clear and very transparent. You get a sense for that like very quickly. But there's more of a hidden risk factor with stable coins where, you could lose everything suddenly. It's like the ultimate volatility. And I think if we start to get mass adoption, that risk grows, and then it's going to be a huge attack vector if we're not mindful of it from the beginning. And so I don't know how to solve that problem. I'd love to hear thoughts on that.
I think that we have no choice but to use stable coins in the beginning to onboard people to say, yeah, we have US dollar here too, and to grab their interest. And then over time, now that we have their interest, we educate them, and we incentivize them to move to BCH and SLP tokens. Because trying to go something that a lot of people, all the people are like, oh, I don't like stable coins, stable coins are the devil. What these people don't understand is that, you go straight in with Bitcoin Cash and, you're like, hey, this is electronic cash and, it's this and that. And they look at their wallet and they're like, well, how many pesos do I have? It's just like the breach between where we are and where they are is too big. We have to build a bridge across that space.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Once
and we have to be more incremental. Like if you want to go into crypto, you have to learn like 50 different things, and one of them is the volatility, and that it's like I was talking with some relatives like a couple of minutes ago, like half an hour ago. Like, so the price is decoupled from the US dollar. So even from the euro. So even like imagining that there could be something that's a currency that's not like priced in, that's not equal to the price of euro is already something to wrap your mind around. And we can take that like thought process away by just using a stable coin. And then people would get all the benefits from crypto, modulo the trust that Chris just talked about. But you would have permissionless. You could send money instantly. You could store it non-custodially. And I think we really need to do small incremental steps, kind of lure people into crypto, so that it's like, it should be like, oh, you're not using crypto. Why you're not using crypto? Like similar when people are like, yeah, why you're not using an iPhone? Why, like, I used to be the guy who didn't have a smartphone because I don't know, I just didn't need it. And then people were like, why are you that guy that's not using a smartphone? That's not using a smartphone. So I got one, and yeah, and I don't know if it was a smart decision, but that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Maybe,
and the same should be for crypto. Yeah.
Maybe even from the security standpoint, it's like a firewall. Like, who would not install a freeware firewall on his desktop PC? Like, if you didn't do this, well, you probably have a lot of viruses on your PC just by surfing around or getting some files from somewhere. So having a USDH imagine you're someone in Greece, in Cyprus or somewhere. So euro hasn't crashed, but you cannot go and take your money out of the ATM. But now you have a Bcash card. Like you're using this for a year now, maybe just have a bit of the money, but then you realize, okay, wow, this is what they mean with permissionless money. It's permissionless. I can use it everywhere. And it has still the same positive aspects. It's still a stable euro. It's the same euro that someone in Germany who is right now doesn't have the same problem like me here in Cyprus. And so I rather have this security in a Windows computer, in something that it might crash or whatever, instead of Linux. But then trying, as you are saying, like trying to get the Bitcoin Cash right on top, and with all the issues that are coming with it. And to what George said, they're not even asking like, is it coupled to the, or like, is it how many pesos? Like they're just asking like, what can I do with it? I don't think many people don't even see it as money. So then we start talking like, yo, digital gold. And this is the more we have to explain all of these things and different aspects, the more we can branch up. And I think maybe this is also a part why so many people in Bitcoin forgot the whole P2P cash aspect and went with the digital gold aspect, because the only thing we were talking about, even we as libertarians, as free market people, as people who sound money people, who value sound money, we were always talking about there are not more than 21 million Bitcoin, blah, blah. This is all about moon and price go up, and all about this stuff, or at least we meant it's not inflationary, but it's turned into all the time, because we wanted to adopt them, because we wanted to show how cool Bitcoin is and how great it is and how much better it is. We even got the wrong message out, in my opinion. Then
Yeah, there's one big rule in like entrepreneurship and business is like, don't teach or don't educate your customer. Like your customer has preferences, your customer has wishes. Use those. Don't tell him this is your wish. Like you actually want to have sound money. Like maybe they do, but we can't like teach people like, okay, read human action and then you'll understand crypto. That's not how it works.
Actually, I would disagree a little bit on that point, because at the end of the day, if you're not a guy who's in this for the profits, then there is a culture and an idea set that is part of the narrative behind crypto. Money is a story. It is a narrative. It is a question of whether you believe in it or not. And so, for example, another reason to have a stable coin is I saw many times. Someone would get a little bit of crypto, a merchant or whatever, they would buy some and they'd be like, okay, so this is not dollars or pesos, this is, something else. And the price can go down, right? And I'm like, yeah, it can go down or it can go up. Blah, blah, blah. And so for some people, their risk profile is such, they don't want to take that kind of risk, particularly a merchant who depends on his revenue in order to restock his shop. And so they get in a race to exchange that crypto for fiat.
And then almost by that definition, it's no longer hard money.
In order to feel not like at risk. And so if there's no stable coin there, if they can't be like boop it a boop, okay, I'm safe. Phew, I'm protected. Then they're gonna exit crypto, and then they're gonna be like, well, why do I have this thing on my phone? I don't need this. Delete it. Ciao. Yeah. And then we've lost them. So we need them to keep the wallet, because we need to use that as a channel through which to distribute information and education, our narrative, so that over time we can get that. We're not gonna send human action through that channel, but we might send it in little chunks in a more friendly format, with a few girls in bikinis or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
no, with Mises.
So that's another reason why there has to be a stable coin there, because we need to keep that channel open. Otherwise, every time we onboard 10 people, we're likely to lose 7 or 8 of them, every time that their wallet reaches a zero balance.
Yeah, I love discussing these narratives. Like to zoom out for a second, I'm a big proponent of existential philosophy, and existential philosophy, the broad stroke is like you exist first, and then you have to figure out what that means. And I think Bitcoin is like that. Like Bitcoin just like existed, and then we've been on this 11-year journey to like understand what that means, and the narrative has changed. And I actually really like this digital gold narrative because it's not what we are. It's like we can be like, okay, BTC is digital gold, BCH is digital cash. I'm very comfortable with that, like, because I'm not interested in gold. I want uncensorable digital permissionless money, and that's what I'm here for. And so that's why like I'm very comfortable like drawing the line right there. And they do that and we do this. But to bring it back to what you were saying about these sort of stable coins and wallets and taking these iterative steps, and I'm really focused right now with the postage protocol, because this is how we before this live stream we talked a little bit about SideShift AI and how they've integrated atomic swaps into the USDH honest coin stable SLP token and the BCH transfers. So that's sweet because you don't have to worry about waiting for a confirmation. You don't have to worry about double spending. You send your BCH, you get your USDH. You send your USDH, you get your BCH. And so that's a big improvement in the user experience. And I think the next big improvement in the user experience is this post office, where, like you said, for these merchants who they're just not ready to deal with crypto, but they're okay with dollars. They need dollars. They need stable buying power. And I think, yeah, like herding cats, the way we give them that treat and invite them to come where we want them to go is with the postage protocol. So that way they have like a simple app and they're dealing in dollars or euros or whatever. The same fiat currency, but we've got them actually. So from their perspective, they haven't done anything radical. They're still using the same tools and thinking the same way that they've always thought. But what we've actually accomplished, if we can pull that off, is that now they're using permissionless money. Now that USDH is no longer, approved by the Fed in New York. It's not a petrodollar anymore. It's something like it that's pegged to it, but it's that first step down the crypto road.
Yeah, and for Bcash, my plan is to initially focus on USDH, but then as simply as possible, so people don't get confused, integrate Bitcoin Cash in there so that people can swap like between that very easily and maybe get some kind of exchange API with SideShift or something in there. And then we could have like the best of both worlds. So like, okay, yeah, let me have the USDH for like my money for sending and receiving, and then maybe use the BCH for speculation, for like very permissionless, like the most permissionless money we got, and that way we can. Like once they're in, like, okay, yeah, I can actually use Bcash similar to PayPal. Like I would like for Bcash to be an even simpler version than PayPal, because you technically don't need to go through the KYC. Then if you're like, oh yeah, what's this other option that is presented within this wallet? And it says BCH, Bitcoin Cash. Then you might be like, okay, maybe I want to get some of those, or maybe I want to research on that. Like, what's the difference between USDH and BCH? And that way, people might want to just self-educate on those topics. And I think that's the approach we should take. Like, instead of going from, okay, first go into Bitcoin Cash, and then you maybe use stablecoins, which is currently like the way it's done. Let's first get them into stablecoins and do the experience as perfect as possible, and then be like, okay, maybe want maybe want to try some of those. Like,
well, that brings
yeah,
us back to the jobs program, because the way I've conceived of it, I call it like gamified adoption. You know, when the person, you know, it's like an invitation in the app, you know, hey, do you want to learn more about this technology? And then we have a graded course, you know, a very pleasant, very short, bite-sized videos. And, you know, hey, we teach them step by step, and we pay them for watching every video and then successfully answering the quiz afterwards, or otherwise demonstrating that they've really, you know, absorbed the knowledge. And that there's a very graded thing, and it builds up over time, you know. So they master a basic, and then, hey, would you like to, you know, work this kind of thing? You know, do you want to sign up merchants? Do you want to hold meetups? Do you want to start a business? You know, and then we fork them off in these different directions, and, you know, for things that you know, demonstrably concretely add value to the network, you know, we pay it. We pay it upon verification, you know, that it's like a merchant has been added, or whatever, you know, or new wallet downloads, and we can pay them in an SLP token, I think. And I think, yeah, we like, if going down this path, we can't rely on their curiosity. You know, we have to pay them to accept what, you know, not just our money, but also our culture and our information, you know, the whole narrative, the whole meme that goes behind all of this. Hey, I just want to jump in a question. Biggest bubbler in the chat, he says, will we need off-chain solutions to allow BCH to go viral, or can we solve the scaling situation on Bitcoin Cash?
I don't think we're going to need, I mean, like in like 20, 50 years, yes, we probably will need better scaling solutions, but like we can definitely scale for years to come with the current solutions. We need to focus more on adoption than scaling at this point.
Yeah, roger that. I think that's the way it's going to be. We will need to have like Bitcoin Cash already scales pretty fine. There've been some tests that prove this. I mean, for 22 megabytes or something in that range, we get issues with the mempool, but yeah, those can be fixed. Those are not like some kind of fundamental uncertainty principle kind of thing, but they can be fixed, and we can go pretty big with the resources we do have. And yeah, I'm pretty optimistic actually on that front. Like, the stuff where I'm more pessimistic about is like the instant payments, because we currently do have that with like Avalanche. No, we currently do have that with ZeroConf, but they could be improved upon. Maybe we can talk about those later. But to answer Big Brother's question, I'm pretty optimistic that it'll go very far without having to rely on off-chain solutions. Don't get me wrong, off-chain solutions are pretty cool. I'm working on some myself to allow like offline to offline payments, but those are very experimental, and I don't really think that they will be super necessary, other than for like making the user experience better, but not for like scaling.
I like the idea of being able to, you know, speaking of like, you know, what you were just saying, Tobias, the like, I as a user, I can package a transaction and then give it to the merchant to process. Because, you know, you see, especially in Venezuela, situations where old phones, you know, the user doesn't, you know, maybe paying for internet access by the minute, and maybe they're out of minutes. You also see a lot of, here in Medellin, at least, a lot of real estate, a lot of buildings that are not, they've been built in such a fashion with such materials that, you know, even you put a good Wi-Fi router, it doesn't reach the whole building. And that's because, you know, like the signal doesn't penetrate like some of these walls. I don't know what they built that out of, but it's a problem. You know, have you guys thought about that?
Well, so to combine kind of that question, the things we've talked about, one of the things I've really been mindful of lately is on-chain data bloat. And that's not necessarily a scaling issue, because the data bloat really just affects like the full node, the servers that you run. It's not directly affecting like the ability to move transactions. But you know, like, so I've been looking at Vin Armani's swap protocol, which is a really going to be a big deal. People should be paying attention to that, because it enables a whole new class of financial transactions. And like decentralized token exchanges and betting and escrow, all these things are possible on chain with the swap protocol. But it takes a minimum of 3 transactions to complete a swap protocol transaction, and usually more. And its current implementation uses all on-chain data. And there's a strong argument to be made that because it's a financial transaction, that's the kind of data that should be on the chain. You know, as opposed to, say, memo.cash, which I love, but it's social media, and that information probably doesn't need to be on chain forever. And it's probably better if it doesn't. So I'm really looking at pairing IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, which for people who are unfamiliar with that, it's very similar to BitTorrent with more features. And so whenever I can, I want to move data off chain it also has great features like, I want to take Vin's swap protocol and combine it with IPFS, which not only does it move the data off chain and make everything easier, because now you're not trying to like chunk stuff up and get it to fit on the chain and then reassemble it at the other end. It eliminates all that problem, but it also, you can have self-destructing messages where like the message just gets deleted after like 30 days automatically without anybody doing anything. And that's really nice for certain financial transactions. And so when people say scaling, they mean many different things. And so within the context of scaling in terms of transactions and transaction speed and being able to send money and receive money, we have scaling for years. And then there's lots of interesting off-chain solutions that they're not necessarily for scaling, they're just because they're better. Like IPFS is just better at moving content than the blockchain is. And like I'm also looking heavily into Ava Labs Avalanche network that they're building as a potential side chain to Bitcoin Cash. There are just a plethora of business problems that you can solve that way, and they're very complementary. And I mean, I guess just to sort of extend that theme, I'm really trying to get people to get out of like a competitive mindset when it comes to crypto, that like all the different blockchains, they have something to offer. And this notion that one blockchain is going to rule them all, like that meme really needs to die, because it's just not true. And instead start to look at this is a blue ocean of opportunity, and we need to all cooperate and find out like what we're good at, what we are individually, what each blockchain is good at, and how we can all work together. Because I that's it, from a hardcore technical standpoint, having looked at multiple blockchains, I see a very clear pattern, especially like with Ethereum, BTC, BCH, and Ava. These are all different blockchains that do very different things. And the real like cypherpunk power is in understanding how you can wire these things together to enhance your freedom.
Yeah, which is what I've been like advocating with Mitra, where like at least one important aspect is like having cross-chain integration. For example, with Ethereum, if we could use some of the tokens of Ethereum on Bitcoin Cash, that would be phenomenal. Like just lock them up in a contract on Ethereum. You can use them on Bitcoin Cash, send them around instantly, use all the cool stuff. And then once you want to like return them, you burn the tokens on Bitcoin Cash and return them to Ethereum. I think that would be phenomenal. So one more point on scaling. So I think SLP makes the scaling question a bit harder, because SLP is like, especially if you do on phone or with any like simple payment, like SPV kind of verification, then it really starts to get complicated on that front. And so that's also where Mitra would be able to help, because the tokens are verified by the miner. And if you trust the miner, which is kind of the theme in Bitcoin Cash, then you would also have to be able to handle much more token transactions than we currently, or that we will be able to handle with SLP if we don't fix that. It says my internet was a bit weird, but I think
you're right, Tobias.
was anything chopped up?
Scaling with SLP tokens is something that we need to worry about in the next year to 2 years.
I want to offer a counterpoint though, Chris, on this idea that you know, kind of all chains are gonna, you know, move forward hand in hand and sing kumbaya.
Sure.
I'm probably straw manning your position a little bit there, but I think, you know, given the Pareto principle, for example, you know, like there is going to be one that runs away, probably going to dominate a large percentage of adoption. I think it's going to be the one that, you know, puts out, you know, a product that's more than just, hey, here's a wallet, guys, you know, first, and puts the marketing into you know, spreading it around, getting people to adopt it, and then has this jobs program built into it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so. And also I look at a lot of these chains and they're copies. They're copies of BTC. Like you look at BCH, you're kind of like, this is basically a copy of BTC right now. Which means
Yeah, I mean,
we have all of our work ahead of us. But these other chains, you know, are like, why do we need 10 or 100 copies of BTC? I just don't see it. Ethereum is something different. Nano, it looks different, although I remain skeptical, you know, but all these ones that are the same, you know, there's going to be one or two clear winners.
I don't
which is why I'm excited about Avalanche. And anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
I don't disagree with you, George. I think that the crypto space in the next 10, 20 years is going to look a lot like the evolution of it. It's going to look a lot like the evolution of social media. You know, like first there was Friendster, and then there was MySpace, and then there's Facebook, and those each took their turn as the dominant player. And then there's like Twitter, which is not Facebook. It's social media, but it's something else. And so, yeah, I definitely agree. There is going to be a power law with one dominant implementation that gets 70% of the attention. But that particular chain is going to change in that role over time, just like we saw with, you know, Friendster and MySpace and Facebook. I personally hope that, yeah, there will be a flipping and BCH's medium of exchange focus like will dominate BTC's gold focus. And then, you know, like you said, there's Ethereum, that's something totally different. And in Ava, again, just something totally different. And so if you look at the cryptocurrency space, I think it's going to look a lot like the social media space, where you're going to have like the cryptocurrency is trying to be money, and then the cryptocurrency is trying to be smart contracts, and then the cryptocurrency is trying to be like smart assets, or, you know, some other things that we haven't even thought of yet. And there'll be a power law distribution to it.
Yeah. You know, I think one thing that Ava can do also to separate itself is to seek out a more, I don't want to say fair or equitable, but a more, maybe more diverse distribution, which I think is a serious problem that basically all cryptocurrencies today suffer from. And I think we're suffering from it in part in Bitcoin Cash. You know, you have all the early adopters, and they have mountains of their crypto, and then everybody else is like, how do I get in, you know? And so like it kind of shot ourselves in the foot from the beginning. So I think really any new crypto that starts today has to have a plan to ensure that every single human being can get an initial distribution of that crypto, you know?
Yeah.
And I have a plan for that as well. but I won't bore you guys with that.
Well, I gotta hop off, but man, this has been a great conversation, and I like where it's going. I hope you guys keep it going.
100%. Thank you so much for being on with us, Chris. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, ditto.
Thank
You guys
you.
go team Bitcoin Cash, I guess.
100%.
Yeah, really nice talking to you. And add me to that jobs group. I want to hire people.
I'll do that. Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, Chris. Take care.
Bye.
So we have a question from Philip. He says, how can I help support BCH when you're not a developer, but run their own servers, etc.? What tools and things can you set up to help the community?
So I'm not sure if I'm very qualified to answer that, because I'm a developer and I just have like my little space there. But from my perspective, what you can do is, of course, promote the products that Bitcoin Cash has. Make maybe short explanation videos if you're good at that, like and or help developers explain the more technical format or something like that, because we don't really have like a go-to solution for how to become a developer. So so when I learned how Bitcoin Cash works, it was all like trying to string together like 100 different sources and basically learning by doing, like just trying things out and seeing where that takes me. But it would be much nicer and we would get much more people in the space if we had like just watch this collection, the series of videos, follow along the tutorials, maybe read some of the examples, and then you'll be able to write cool software, and then to have people that kind of work on that. And if you're good with videos, if you're good with that, then I think that would be cool thing to have.
Yeah, it was kind of a question for Chris there. He left to the in a bad time, but I think fullstack.cash is going in that direction and is trying to be the reference where people can go and look up. And I can't say much about it, but I think seems like when I was trying to see, even though I knew I wasn't able to see learn much, or just to be able to send it to someone who is a developer, which I want to for me to work for me or something. I didn't know where. So fullstack.cash is one place where you can start to learn, or the videos of Chris and stuff. And I think we should also focus on creating something like this. Maybe even someone making a business out of it, more or less. You know.
I think it's really cool that he's trying to make it like as an entrepreneur, like trying to get, okay, I'll do it that way. And one thing that you can also do is to like use Bitcoin Cash products, like a Lazy Fox or something like that. Make a video of that, promote that, and I think then people can really see what the like what is actually going on, like what are the things, because many people don't know, like even many in the space of crypto don't even know that Bitcoin Cash has tokens. Like, I mean, that's kind of a shame. So
I mean,
if
you already can use crypto, if you already can know how to pay something, or pay deposit your money in blockchain .poker, and how all of this works. Of course, I just saw a tutorial of it. You already know more than most of the people, so you can help spread the word or adoption by just making services, videos of services, and blogs or logs, any type of information that shows how you use it, how you use Bitcoin, essentially what it can do, like swap protocol. Share this info far and wide. This is more or less a revolutionary protocol. People may not even know what's so revolutionary about it. Make it clear. Stuff like this. These are the stuff that you, as a user who likes BCH but doesn't, but like a power user or something, can explain in simple words to the other people who might then get interested for this.
And one thing one very important thing that kind of gets ignored, it seems, in Bitcoin Cash is data. Like when I was trying to make some convincing business case for B.Cash, I was realizing like how big the lack of good data for Bitcoin Cash is. Like what are the fees of remittances of competitors? What is even the competition of Bitcoin Cash? Like what are we competing with? What are the like we are saying, okay, we want to bank the unbanked, but I had to figure out where the unbanked are myself. Like I had to see, okay, they are in Mexico, they are there, they are in all these different countries. If we could have that like in our face every couple of days, like, oh yeah, actually, this is a new piece of data I figured out. This is what people care about. And not just like, okay, this is BTC's fee today, this is BCH fees today. I mean, I understand that, but like more like data I could put in slides for my business. And then maybe it would make people think like, oh, wait, actually, like in X country, I don't have an example at hand right now, but there's this specific lack, and I'm in that country, or I know somebody who's in that country. Maybe I can make a business out of that, or maybe I can steer Bitcoin Cash into the direction of supporting that kind of problem. And so I think currently Bitcoin Cash is not really taking all the possibilities that it has with like the data that's readily available on the internet about payments, about the banking situation, like how many people are banked, how many people have access to financial institutions. And if you have any idea about like the bare minimum of how statistics works, like what are percentages and stuff like that, then you can already help doing the research and doing things like that. And that would be extremely helpful, because that is very time consuming, but also very, very necessary for Bitcoin Cash.
I'd certainly pay for that service. Someone who gives me all these
I think I
things
got
that
stuck.
I don't have to.
Am I still there?
Yeah, you're still there.
here.
Everything's fine. Yeah. But these are
still
things
exist.
that really are opportunities, not just by like, you don't even have to think in the crypto opportunities, like the crypto business. It's something like you would do for any payment or for any business, but you can do it for the BCH project, for the Bitcoin Cash project, for anyone who wants to bring remittances to Africa, like me or you or George to Latin America. If there's something like that gives me all this information that I, get headaches looking up and confused by all these numbers. So that would be super fun. This is an opportunity to be some kind of, the real life oracle. I don't know what word we need for the database, knowledge base of
data
the
scientists,
real world. Yeah. Okay.
I would say step one is join the BCH Ignite workspace Discord, so that you can be in the loop, right? Because there are always things coming up, and we need to have constant communication, in order to have optimal discovery of those things. Also, you might want to take a look at the Stamp project. I put a link in the chat. That is a great thing to get in on the ground floor of, and we're a bit short on testnet faucets at the moment, so I think that'd be good to get into. But definitely
somebody
join
needs
us on
testnet coins.
Discord.
If somebody needs testnet coins, I have too many. So
yeah, the other day somebody was asking for testnet coins for Stamp, and like all the faucets were down. I don't remember who.
Besides fullstack.cash.
Yeah, fullstack.cash is like the backbone of
I think they
Bitcoin
were just
Cash now.
like old faucets or something like that. I don't know, but I think we should just go with fullstack.cash. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should talk with Chris more about full stack, because I'm currently also like developing some stuff just myself, and it's really time consuming. And yeah, I mean, some stuff for Bcash is very, very different than what we are used to. Like you don't really have an UTXO model, you have more like an account model, which makes things much easier for users and for cards. But yeah, I should get more onto Chris's nerves with development on that front.
So we're working on Kusha and I are working on coming up with a solid proposal for a reference, basically a reference wallet for Bitcoin Cash, something that can serve as a basic just a basic solid wallet, but that we can build some of these things that we're talking about onto, and that can have adoption teams across the developing world, South Asia, Africa, Latin America, etc., kind of all on the same page, all working in parallel, all on the same system, though of course leaving room for individual variances, almost like a Lego set kind of wallet, so that each team can kind of build the wallet that they want if they want, and have a viable business plan while still using this common infrastructure, and also so that we can pool liquidity across all these different regions within a P2P exchange within the wallet. So I think it would really be great, Tobias, if we could integrate the B.cash cards and all that great work that you're doing into that, so that we can help, we can kind of bring a whole unified package, so that, maybe in a year, somebody from Africa is like, hey, I want to get this going in Kenya. How do I do it? Well, here we go. Here's the whole package, and you can make money doing it, maybe,
Yep.
when after a few months of, you built up a network and whatnot, maybe this could be your full-time job, and then you can bring on additional people, and then, they don't work for you, but they can also start earning, so I don't know. What do you think? You want to be a part of that?
Yeah, it sounds very interesting. I mean, I'm currently working on getting a really slick B.cash wallet. Kusha is always giving me like, oh yeah, this looks amazing, like really cool, and I'm always very happy about getting feedback like that. But don't be afraid to like give me negative feedback, because I'm a developer. I don't really know how to design stuff. So if you're like, oh yeah, this button, like nobody understands the placement of that button, or that doesn't make sense at all, then I would be really happy to. I would be very, very happy about that kind of feedback. Oh yeah, and if you want to like keep updated with the development of B.cash, then you can join the Telegram channel for that, which is just B_cash. So t.me/b_cash will bring you right to that Telegram channel. And I recently posted the backup mechanism there, where you can store where you can back up your cards, your wallet onto one of those cards. You can keep it safe, or maybe one without chip, because you don't need that for backup, and bury it somewhere, and then like, okay, this card is the key to my wallet. And it makes much more sense to have this thing as a key than a piece of paper for people, because if you go to a hotel, you use this thing as a key, but you never use a piece of paper to where you enter 12 words to get into the room. So I think that's
100%. Yeah. I have some feedback. I don't like the color scheme.
You don't.
Just joking. Just joking.
I worked so hard on that, but yeah, if you don't like it, that's
hot pink. Isn't it like hot pink?
I don't know why,
it's very
but
pink.
It looks just nice.
I'm
pink.
sure if the
Really
camera
nice.
will give it justice, but this is basically the current color scheme. Yeah, the screen doesn't do it justice at all. Like, this is a rainbow, but it's basically dark.
Even better.
Yeah. Let's just pick all colors.
Though,
so it's
that
basically
I have
dark
to be
blue
frank,
and
the pink makes me think of cosmetics.
yeah, that's a valid criticism. Yeah. Maybe
I love
maybe
it.
I'll change
I
it.
love your innovativeness, though, like going outside the existing, what is it? That's like an Overton window, right? of acceptable colors. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, don't colors are not important. What I think is, I mean, the B.cash card was for me the point, not the card, the app, the idea, the solution was for me the point where I actually stopped talking about the reference wallet because I'm talking about like having, please give me give me a wallet where I have a button where I can say like USDH now. Okay, like 10% of what I have in this wallet, I want to have in USDH. Sideshift, I mean, Sideshift has actually given you something that you can integrate in your wallet. So I just got a message from from someone. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. But yeah,
You wanted to praise Bcash, basically.
No,
Yeah.
no. I wanted to ask, is it's not open source? You know, it's kind of your thing, right? But
Currently, yeah. I hope I can open source it eventually, but I don't want to, like, especially during the development, if there's some kind of competitor who just snacks it up and works with that. I'm not sure how they would be able to work with that kind of code, but
I see.
yeah, why?
Yeah, but how can we combine your app and our app to a solution? I mean, your card in itself is more or less a wallet address where you actually from the reference wallet could just send to this USDH Bcash card, for example. It would be the same. So it's not even too complicated to combine those, even if it's not combined. But is there any idea of getting the software together, like building something?
So yeah, there's definitely the library. So I'll definitely publish the library for using the card, at least in bytecode. So you can integrate that into your wallet, and especially like accept card payments, because that's really where I get the most benefit. If you like, okay, yeah, you can get money from the card, from the customer into your phone, then that would be very valuable for me, and I would be very eager to like solve all the problems you have with that, and later on, especially make it really really easy to integrate my development into all the wallets, and especially into all the point of sale systems that already exist. And yeah, your reference wallet being kind of the playground for making a good interface with the Bcash wallet would be something that would be very helpful for developing that kind of thing. Yeah, let's work on this off stream, because that seems kind of
Yeah, all of these things are the things that we can talk about in the BCH Ignite Discord. This is why we created this platform, and this is why we invite everyone to join, especially the developers and the business people who are already established, and of course everyone who wants to join or has an idea, proposal, suggestion, or wants to help, or just is interested. Like there is enough room for everyone in this Discord. And yeah, so I'd love to talk about stuff, all of this, and write it down in the Discord, pin it, and have people think about it and contribute and all of this, and connect much more, so that we also don't do double the work, you know.
100%. Yeah. In the BCH Ignite Discord, we aim to build essentially a business factory where we can put you together with other people, form teams, get funding, help you build out products and projects that are profitable, that serve the Bitcoin Cash adoption goals, and that improve the world for everyone. So definitely invite everyone to join us on the Discord. The link is in the chat. It's probably also in the description for this video. And this has been an outstanding discussion. Thank you so much, Tobias, for participating from B.cash. You can find him on Telegram, t.me/b_cash, or he's also on Twitter. Chris Troutner, fullstack.cash. That's also his website address. He has a lot of good resources there. Definitely a good guy to be in contact with. Kusha, the outstanding connector, who is definitely focused very much on Africa adoption and also South Asia. So, and I'm George Donnelly. So I just want to thank everybody for watching, for participating. We're going to be doing this every Thursday, but we're going to be varying the time zone, each time to make sure everybody can participate. So thank you so much, guys, for participating. Any final words? You want to pimp anything?
So yeah, I will do a email list soon where people can subscribe to and get updates to b.cash. That's still like being worked on, but if people could subscribe once that's out, then that would be very helpful for getting the announcement. Okay, now you can hop over to the shop and get a Bcash card or something along those lines. Subscribe or follow me on Twitter at Tobias Ruck or Tobias Ruck, and I think that's about it.
All right, signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure.